Hi folks, you're with Taskless today, your pushback channel, and thank you for joining this audio live stream. Please listen to this presentation as you would a radio broadcast. In this essay, I'd like to talk about the ridiculous, absurd and rather fanciful attempts, or so it's reported in the media at least, of the British government to drag Elon Musk in front of some parliamentary committee that's going to be stacked with two-bit race grifter hustler activists who are going to give him a dressing down, put him in his place, give him what for, and slap that punk, and so on. So this is their slap this far right guy around. So this has been reported now. The reason for this, or the supposed reason, or the reasons put forward for this by these two-bit activists in the British government, is who don't seem to have much of a lineage in British, going back many generations in Britain at least. The reason put forward is that all the unrest, disturbances, protests, whatever you want to call it, by white people in the UK over the last so many months has been because of, Elon Musk personally, or at least this is the implication they seem to be putting forward. Elon Musk personally spread misinformation or didn't censor misinformation, and thus he was the approximate, if not the absolute, cause of all the disturbances. When brown people riot, it's because they've got just grievances, and no matter how many lies are told to get those guys going, then that doesn't matter. It's only when white people protest, and it's only when they protest about the key globalist, the points and the features of the globalist projects. When white British people complain about the globalist project, mass migration, that sort of stuff, then they're automatically around the far right, Hitler, Nazi, fascist, where's your swastikas, throw those bums in prison, and so on. But when people go and riot about what's going on in the Middle East and Gaza, they run around, or the Black Lives Matter, or this or that. Well, that's okay. We don't really need that. They've got a justifiable, hey, they're victims, they're social victims, so they have justifiable good. They're fighting back against oppression. But if white people do exactly the same thing, or even on a lesser or more moderate scale, Nazi, fascist, Hitler, far right, thugs, and so on. So very much a two-tier, not only two-tier policing and two-tier justice, but very much a two-tier way of looking at things. If the person with the supposed lesser social power does something, it's okay. So anyway, what was Elon Musk or any owner of a social media platform? Now remember, all the other social media platforms, the larger ones, the YouTubes and so on, they're controlled by pro-globalist forces. So they're singling out the only social media platform that is not globalist controlled. So that's really the nub of the matter. We don't control, we the globalists, and the British government, by the way, is no longer, and hasn't been for a while, it's no longer a sovereign government. They're just all employees of the globalists. That's all they are now. They don't represent the British people. Far from it. They're just globalist stooges, flunkies, and goons, apparatchiks, functionaries, call it what you like, but they're just globalist employees now. So the globalists don't like it that Elon Musk, who is also not controlled by the globalists, that he owns a platform and refuses to put the same sort of censorship on it that the globalist controlled media does. Media platforms do, and so the globalists control pretty much everything other than the independent operators like the Quartering, Tim Pool, Mark Dice, Matt Walsh, or something, and they don't control the Elon Musk platform. Now it's not clear what sort of censorship they want when the Labor Party of Britain tells the most terrible lies absolutely outrageous lies and grotesque untruths. They don't want that censored. So they only want criticism of what they do censored. So misinformation is when people we don't agree with say something, or people we don't like, or people that say something that counters our narrative. That's what we want censored. We don't want our narrative censored. Our lies and our bright shining lies are meant to be broadcast to the world and put forward as truth, unimpeachable truth. It's only when people talk against us and question us and so on that has to be suppressed. So this is what I mean. So if Elon Musk were to appear before this bullshit kangaroo court, you can imagine what it's going to be like an army of AOCs that are going to do the it's going to transcend pathetic. Now we have to also remember that the British police and the judiciary have been totally and utterly politicised. They facts and evidence, unless they happen to suit the predetermined outcome, facts and evidence are irrelevant, and they'll suppress, actively and aggressively suppress evidence and facts that don't suit their narrative. But what I hope happens is that Mr. Musk turns the tables on these guys and has a full online court, that goes all over X, and this court is going to examine the record of the British government and particularly the Labor Party, the one side, the lies they've told, the untruths, the treachery, the deceit, and so on, and that gets exposed, and then a sentence is pronounced, and let's see how they like that, because that's something they can't control. And so, and I think it should be above board. I think it should be, rely on the evidence. Keir Starmer wants this suppressed, but then this is what he said. This is what he's done. Why shouldn't that be suppressed? Keir Starmer wants this person put in prison, but this is what Keir Starmer's done. Should he not be in prison? And so on. That type of thing. So that's something that I hope happens, and that's broadcast around the world and gets tens, if not hundreds of millions of views. Or the British politicians can be summoned to a neutral third country, and where their politicians will be subject to cross-examination, rigorous cross-examination. And now they'll decline, of course, but that opportunity should at the very least be extended. You've been with Tassless today, your Pushback Challenge. Thank you for listening.